Let's get some analysis now on that last issue that the Prime Minister was asked about, Donald Trump. I'm joined by former senior advisor to the coalition government, Maurice Payne and Malcolm Turnbull, among others. He's now Executive Director of the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, Justin Bassi. Justin, let's start with that issue of Donald Trump and the conversation. The Prime Minister said that Mr Trump said they're going to have a perfect friendship. So that's off to a good start. Should he now head to Mar-a-Lago off the back of APEC and the G20, where he's going to be in South America?
Look, a good start is important. Not all Prime Ministers get such a good start, so definitely wasn't the case for Prime Minister Turnbull back in 2016, 2017. But I think off the back of that first conversation with the Prime Minister travelling to Peru, I think if it could happen logistically, there would be advantages, Kieran, in the Prime Minister seeking to go to the United States.
Just pop over to Mar-a-Lago on the way back. He's missing most of that sitting week anyway.
Yeah.
So my understanding is he probably misses most of the Thursday of that sitting week. So why not just do it for an extra day, and then you get that face-to-face engagement?
I think if it's possible, a couple of things I think though need to be examined, because it's not as easy as it seems just to pop over from Peru to the United States. But it's not impossible. I think if you look back at 2016, a world leader who handled President Trump in the first term better than most was Prime Minister Abe of Japan. And directly after the election in 2016, Prime Minister Abe flew from Japan to the United States, and he met with President-elect Donald Trump. And
he gave him a gold driver, golf driver. I remember seeing it, the gold golf driver, as a gift straight away. So it was there to do it.
It really set the scene early for Japan, the United States. I think it can be done. I think you would need, of course, the support of the existing president. I think you can't ignore the fact that President Biden is still in office, and you need to respect that office. But I think President Biden and his team would know how important the alliance is, and I'm sure that they would absolutely support Prime Minister Albanese going to visit the United States and to see President-elect Trump.
What should we read from the appointments thus far? Tom Homan and Elise Stefanak, they're the two of the more high-profile announcements that we've heard so far from President Trump. In line with what you'd expect?
I think the answer is yes. I think it's important to look at what President Trump and his team have been saying during the campaign, what they're focused on. They're focused on border security. They're focused on the fact that they don't believe international institutions or the UN are holding the rest of the world, particularly the authoritarian regimes, to account. And they are focused on the competition with China. And I think those appointments, key cabinet-level appointments on border security, the key cabinet-level appointment on the ambassador to the UN, and I think just recently the Congressman Mike Waltz announced as the incoming national security advisor, who has a very strong reputation on China, including calling out the genocide against the Uyghurs, while being also a critic at times about NATO. So I think there's consistency there with what we saw in the campaign. I think that's important for us looking forward.
So on that appointment of the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, as opposed to Tim Waltz, it's a similar surname, but Mike Waltz, being a China hawk, does that mean that he will stiffen the resolve when it comes to issues like Taiwan? Because that's been one of the questions. Would Trump be as forward-leaning on that democratic island, given his America First approach?
It's a key question. I think we have wars, obviously, in Europe and the Middle East, but regardless, American foreign policy will absolutely have a focus on China in the next few years. And so the key appointments around President-elect Trump will be an early sighter on what to expect. And I think yesterday we saw President Trump announce on social media that he wasn't going to bring back former Secretary of State and CIA Director Pompeo, who was very well known for his strength of views in relation to China. So people were asking questions about what this would mean. I think today's announcement in relation to Mike Waltz shows that President-elect Trump is doing what he said he would do in the campaign. He has a focus on China. The question for Australia, though, Kieran, is to make sure that the next administration, the Trump administration, is not just focused on China from an economic perspective. We need to make sure that the strategic side, the security side, the human rights side is high among the US administration's priorities, and that's where Taiwan comes into play.
Okay. Justin Bassi, great to get your insights. As always, thanks so much.